Hello, lovelies. I am Lynn.
Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Jane. Welcome back to our channel.
Yay. Today we have something interesting. It's a little bit different. It's not politics. It is about an unsolved murder from 1900s, I believe, isn't it? Is it 1900s?
1908.
1908. Okay.
It was when they thought she was dead.
Yeah. Okay. And so her name is Belle Gunness, and she was born in um
Norway.
Norway, and then she immigrated to the United States and changed her name to Belle Gunness from what it was Brynhilde Holsdatter Storseth, which is what
Not
her.
ask me to pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm sure I butchered that myself. Oh my God, talk about poor
We'll put
choice
a,
of
we'll put a
words.
link in the
Yeah.
section
And
below.
and I'm kind of laughing at myself because I use the term butchered, and that's her method of.
Well, she was
She
a
was,
butcher. She was a
pardon?
she was a meat cutter.
She was a serial killer as well.
Well,
And
yeah, there's
so,
that.
right. And so her nickname is Hell's Bells. We will put a link to the Wikipedia page for her about her, where she was born, what her birth name was, when she changed it, when she came to the United States.
And what she's
Um,
alleged to have done.
yes, exactly. And so this is a little bit of a different read for us, because we're kind of tired of politics. Um, and we'd like to be in a place of joy right now.
So, what are we talking about? Serial killers. What a joyful spot to be in. It's just interesting. I mean, there's unsolved murders around the world, right? And this woman was busy. She lived in Chicago with her sister, an older sister, and she was active as a killer in both Illinois and Indiana. She's alleged to have killed, what, 40 people?
I
Uh,
didn't read that far, so I'm not sure. Let me get.
something. She was considered the most prolific female serial killer in history. And I suppose the Countess Bathory would be the most prolific serial killer. But
The interesting thing about this, though, is that women are very rarely serial killers.
when we turn bad, we turn very bad.
And that's the reason why her nickname is Hell's Bells. All right, before we get into this, let's start off with a prayer of protection just for
Because
shits and giggles. Yes, I said that word. All right. Gracious Goddess, please protect us from all harm, be it accidental or intentional. Please protect anyone who's watching this video from the harm, accidental or intentional, from anything occurring in this video. Any statements made throughout the video are alleged. We are not in any way, shape, or form attempting to solve this. We are simply
reading what the cards and our intuition tell us.
as is anything else you'd like to add to this, Jane?
Pull the energy up from the ground, up through the soles of your feet. Let it fill your body all the way to the top and out the top of your head. Let this energy go around you in your space, your home, your land, your apartment, wherever you may be. Let it cover you in its web of silver. Let it encase you, that only good, only what we invite may enter here. So mote it be.
As is my will, so mote it be. Okay, Jane, you're going to read first this time, right?
Yeah, I am.
Beautiful.
I
All right.
find Belle's story fascinating. the little I know of it, um, we were looking at a list of unsolved murders in Iowa and Illinois, and there are some very famous ones. This has less traction. This is something I hadn't heard of before, and I thought, wow, she was really, really busy. And I read her as an unstable woman who was denied justice in her own life, who was abused. She trusted the people she shouldn't have trusted. And she spiraled. She spiraled when she couldn't get anywhere for help. And, you know, women had no rights in the 1800s. And so she, with her broken heart and her anger and her skills as a meat cutter, started luring men to her home. This was her way of getting even. She was unstable. She was angry. She was strong. She was 5'7", and a woman to be 5'7" in 1880s, 1890s, 1900, she would have been on an equal footing with most men. And her trade as a meat cutter gave her a lot of strength, an ability with an axe, chopping implements, sharp knives. So here she was, brokenhearted, angry, abused. And she thought to herself, if I can't get justice one way, I'm going to get it my way. She became, the squeaking you're hearing, if you can hear it, is one of our dogs. He's got a toy in his mouth. So her long nights and pain, she turned them into action. She viewed herself, as did others, as a demon. She was vengeful. She was angry. She was hurt. And she took it out on everyone she could lure. And then, of course, she robbed them and accumulated some wealth. But after time, I mean, she immigrated here in 1888, I think, somewhere around there. By the time the 1900s rolled around, she'd been killing people for a while, and the killings were going on, and she was getting tired. She was also getting older. It was getting harder for her to lure men because she'd place her ads and they would come and she would kill them. And if they met in a pub, they would not necessarily want to go home with her. Her pictures are in the links. But she was ready for a change. By 1908, she had killed roughly 40 people, mostly men, but not all. And she knew it was time. She knew that the law was going to close in on her eventually. What the woman wanted, as far as I can tell, my tarot, is true love. She really wanted stability. She wanted wealth. She wanted comfort. She wanted protection. And she also feared she was going to get caught. So instead, she lures a young woman to a barn, chops off the woman's head, says fire to the barn, and leaves. Because this is what she reinvented herself to do. She found herself a new place to live where nobody knew who she was. She was everybody's best friend, the comfortable older lady spinster at the corner that everyone liked, who baked cookies. She lived out her life in obscurity. I don't believe at all she was the body in the barn. I don't believe it's possible for her to have been beheaded and nobody take the credit. Because by that point, she was getting pretty well known. And I think she staged her own death. That's what my cards are telling me, that she went out and reinvented herself. And I'm not going to pass judgment. I'm not her. I wasn't around her that I know of. Blessings. I hope she made peace with what she did, atoned in her own way, maybe. I don't know that escaping justice is atonement, but if she became a wonderful person, if she became kind-hearted and helpful, Maybe that's who she would have been without the abuse. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Um, Short of DNA to positively identify her as the body in the barn, and fire would have most likely destroyed any evidence of DNA. And who knows that I highly doubt they preserved any of her teeth. So, anyway, that's my take. I believe the woman got away with it. What do you think, Lynn?
I believe that we can use the pendulum after I read my cards and see if that's the case. All right. I am using again the Trish James investigation deck. Um, and I pulled 12 cards. Whoop. Did I freeze? Nope, my phone did. Mm, mm, mm,
It's fine.
mm.
Everything's moving. No, there's
Everything.
no
Can
problem
you,
here.
not on my side, can you see the card?
Well, right now you went off screen with it, but if you back it down a bit, yeah.
Yes, see my card,
Yeah,
my phone froze. All right.
only on your
I'm
end
gonna,
because it's looking just fine here.
okay, can I pause for a moment, please?
Sure.
Okay, sorry about that. My phone decided to stop recording. I accidentally touched it and apparently it didn't like that. All
Technical
right, so
difficulty.
yes, technical difficulties. Please pause. This card says two crimes connected. Hmm. Considering that she allegedly murdered more than 40 people, I bet it was more than two. All right.
Could be that the
Organized.
crime against her is what started her as a criminal.
Yeah, I think so too. Organized meetings. It is alleged that or it's the article, the Wikipedia page that we will link down below said that she was sending out ads, putting up ads to meet people for clandestine clandestine meetings. Um,
It's the Tinder of the day.
right. Missing people, searching for them. There were a lot of distractions to make her actions hidden. The Hierophant is people in authority. I think that her end, no matter what it be. So Jane and I are both psychic mediums, and Belle is talking to Jane, so she's not here talking to me, which is kind of unusual. I get them a lot to talk to me. Um, so I don't have quite as much clarity on the situation as Jane does, and that's okay. But I get the sense that, oh, nope, she is here. All right.
Our turn.
Yep, my turn. Um, the authorities were closing in. They were seeing some patterns and they were getting closer and closer. She supposedly used poisoning and that type of thing. Excuse me, here we go. Drugged or poisoned. She supposedly drugged them or poisoned them and then murdered them. So that is, and I'm fascinated by how these cards have come out because if you look at these cards, and the Wikipedia, it's just like bing, 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 bing. Everything is here. Um, this part is what really interests me. Group involvement. I wonder if she acted alone. Oh, she just said no. There were other women involved.
And one or two teenage boys.
Wow. Fascinating.
They helped her dispose of things.
Aha. Repeat offender. Mm-hmm. So we know that she did this at least 40 times, allegedly. And then I wanted out. She wanted out of the situation. She didn't want to do this work anymore. And I call it work because to her, that's what it was. Um, this is a woman who the Wikipedia page said that she was 5'7", but she also weighed between 200 and 250 pounds. And that, in the 1800s, early 1900s, that's a sturdy woman. Even now, that's a sturdy woman. And
I'm
she,
5'7" and in that weight range. So it's, yeah, we're sturdy.
yeah. And but as a meat cutter, she had the power behind her to be physically capable to do this. But she was like, okay, I've rid myself of the anger, I've rid myself of the hurt, and now I'm done. I want out.
She was tired.
Yeah, she was. There was money involved, and that was probably a motivation for her to do it. She could have met them and robbed them, and or she could have been a for hire as well. Because back in that time, women didn't have the right. I don't know when women had the right to divorce, but they did not. If they did get divorced, they usually ended up with family members
It wasn't
or
until after World War One, when women could divorce, you had to go out to Nevada. Seems
wow.
like it was in the 30s, but I don't. I'd have to look it up.
I remember my grandmother talking about one of, was it my grandfather's sisters? I don't know. Somebody, maybe, one of the women got divorced because her husband was abusive, and she ended up living with them for a while until she was able to get um, settled on her own. But I believe getting settled on her own actually meant that she got remarried. Women didn't have the right to get a job that paid them a living wage. That what
Sorry, my dog is.
dog
Um,
dog we
women
both have
had
animals.
jobs.
No, but
Housekeepers, dressmakers, secretaries. There were women working, but their their options were limited.
right, and the pay range differed as well.
And in
And
Belle's time, their options were even less
right,
than before suffrage, because suffrage was what, 1918, 1920s,
yeah,
19.
1919 is when women got the right to vote, I
Right.
believe. So, but
Her
anyway,
assumed death was 1908.
my
So
my point to this is that if a woman got divorced and it was learned that about her at an employer, that was, I mean, like they did, there were no protections for how that employer treated the woman.
they were shunned by society.
They absolutely were.
Look, this
And, women, it didn't, there were,
remember Queen Elizabeth, her father had to
abdicate.
abdicate in
Yeah,
order to marry a twice divorced American woman.
right. Yep. And the fact that that woman was twice divorced is amazing for that time frame. Anyway, point being, um, women could have jobs. The pay range varied based on, sorry, I'm going to say it, skin color was a big thing. Age, whether
Gender.
they had children or were of childbearing years. Like there were so many factors that ranged to the type that contributed to the type of jobs women could get and how much they were paid.
In the
So,
time
okay,
in Belle's time, women with children could not work.
white women with children could not work. Black women with children were expected to work and work and work.
Domestics, yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep going.
Fascinating that she was a meat cutter, but
Pardon?
I find it fascinating that she was a meat cutter.
Me too. That's fascinating. Very fascinating. All right. So she wanted the freedom. She
She
wanted
really
freedom.
meant herself.
And then so she did a deal. She organized something to get out and to do her own thing. Which that part is really interesting to me. Okay, let me pull up the pendulum. You know what? I'm going to pause for just a moment, Jane.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I had to figure out how to do this so it could be seen because I'm new to this video thing. Um, anyway, all right, so let's ask the pendulum, did
Just,
Belle
Lenny,
die? What?
can you show us yes and no?
Sure, I can do that. Can you show me yes, please?
Kind of going vertical. Oh no. Hello, Hershey. I can see it. Okay. Can you show us
Okay,
no?
so yes looks like this.
Yes.
No is, oh, sorry. No is a side to side movement, and it's usually very subtle. Like I gave it some oomph to make it show, but it's very subtle when you see it. So, all right. So, what do you want to ask? Should we ask if Belle died in the fire or if she was,
Did Belle fake her death in
did Belle
19?
fake her death?
Did Belle fake her death in 1908 in Indiana?
Did Belle fake her death in 1908 in Indiana?
I'm seeing a yes, but it's very subtle.
That's a yes. And it is not so subtle.
Not anymore. Okay.
Uh-uh. Sorry, I'm moving too. That doesn't help things. All right, hang on. Let me get righty.
Sushi, what are we doing underneath me?
Do we have any more questions for this? Because we're getting distracted by animals.
Yeah, the dog is underfoot and your cat's under lap there.
Yes, and
Uh,
he's back to play.
did Belle die of the Spanish influenza? No, I'm not getting anything. Are you?
No, it's starting to say yes.
Yeah, because that's something that had occurred to me when I was first conversing with her, was that she had retired, but it wasn't very long. It was like 10 years. And she died in the first wave of the influenza. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Since the since the pendulum is a yes no, I think my only other question would be, did abuse by a man cause Belle, did abuse by someone cause Belle to become a serial killer?
Abuse cause, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no question about that. That's a definite yes.
And then the next question would be, did greed cause her to continue?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I had.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
That's what I was hearing from her.
Hmm.
She has pulled way back. So
Yeah,
I find her fascinating and her story untold.
yeah.
Um, Murder is wrong. Let's get that out there.
Yep.
Is that a word we can even say on YouTube?
They don't love it. Mm-mm.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't love Belle's actions. It was wrong what she did. It is never the appropriate way to handle anger or
Yeah.
I'm out of words
Yeah.
that are allowed.
I can say this. We live in different times. Number one, people, psychotherapy, started in the 1950s, and that was not available to people in the 1800s or 1900s, early 1900s. And so, the fact that there is therapy for people now probably keeps this from happening over and over again.
But women such as Belle now have options. Um,
Yeah. And the fact that women's rights have been
can't say that you are.
significantly different than what they were back then.
Oh, sushi.
Um, and here we go. Let's put this energy in the world. We're not going back.
We're not ever going backwards.
We're not going back.
No,
So,
not going
all
back.
right. I think that's everything that I have for this reading. What about you?
That satisfies my questions, my
Excellent.
curiosity.
All righty then. Thank you for sticking with us
As we stumble our way through these things,
as we stumble our way and digress and
use the wrong words.
use the wrong words. But hey, we're real.
Help us learn. If you know,
Yeah, we
if you know things we should talk about or shouldn't talk about, let us know in the comments. We
yeah,
will we we read all the comments and we've been getting good, really good feedback. Thank you all for that.
yeah. Thank you. Very grateful for it.
Responded. And let's just put this joy back out in the world. We're not going back.
We're not
We're
going
going
back.
to be happy, healthy, joyful people.
Powerful women.
Yes. When
That's right.
women rise, mountains move.
That's right. Say that again.
When women rise, mountains move.
And we rise together.
Yes. And I'm going to say this, you are made of the stuff of stars and some magic.
And you are far more powerful than you realize. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you will subscribe and come back for more.
Subscribe.
Um,
Can we talk to you some more in the future?
like, like is good too. Share. We'd love all of those things. And let your inner light shine. You're incredibly beautiful and deeply loved by spirit.
And far
Thank you
more
so much.
powerful than you'll ever know.
All
Feel it.
righty.
Let it
Thank
happen.
you, everyone. Bye bye.